Hey, what's going on guys? Me, Mortimer here, and I literally just got back from school like 3 minutes ago. However, Lothian have just announced their service changes, so I'm going to try to really quickly speed through these because this video has to release in about like 7.5 hours. Okay, so first of all, Lothian are going to be revising some of their fares from the 22nd of February, so I'm going to go through those quickly. Single ticket's going to go from £2.20 to £2.40 for an adult and £1.10 to £1.20 for a child. City Day is going to go from £5.50 for an adult to £6, and then Tap Tap Cat £5 to £5.70. £2.75 for a child day ticket to £3, and then £12 for a family to £13. Network tickets are shooting all the way up from £12.50 to £14 for an adult and £6.25 to £7 for a child. Tap Tap Cap City Week tickets are going from £24.50 to £26.50. 1 week rider cards going from £24.50 to £26.50 for an adult, £21 to £23 for a student, and £12.25 to £13.25 for a child. 4 week rider cards going to go from £73 to £80 for an adult, £62.50 to £68 for a student, and £36.50 to £40 for a child. Annual direct debit for an adult is going to go from £68 to £74, £54 to £58 for a student, and £34 to £37 for a child. And then a rider card advance annual is going to go from £700 for an adult to £760, £610 for a student to £660, and £350 to £380 for a child. For East Coast buses in Lothian Country, all the single tickets will be going up by 40p for an adult and 10p for a child. Country Day tickets going from £5.70 for an adult to £6.30, £5.60 with Tap Tap Cap to £6.20, £2.85 to £3.15 for a child, and £14 to £15 for a family. Adult City and Country Day tickets are going from £8.80 for an adult to £9.60, £8.50 to £9.30 with Tap Tap Cap, £4.40 to £4.80 with a child, and £20 to £22 with a family. Night single tickets in 2 or 3 zones are going from £5 to £5.50, and in 4 or more zones they're going from £8 to £8.50. Then in M-ticket bundles, 5 country day tickets are going from £20 to £22, 20 are going from £57 to £63, 5 city and country day tickets are going from £30 to £32.50, and 20 city and country day tickets are going from £114 to £120. Alright, so in the city zone for Edinburgh trams, adult singles going from £2.20 to £2.40, adult returns going from £4.20 to £4.60, child singles going from £1.10 to £1.20, and a child returns going from £2.10 to £2.30. Adult day tickets going from £5.50 to £6, and an adult late tickets going from £5 to £5.50. Child day tickets are going from £2.75 to £3, a family day tickets going from £12 to £13, a family day trip is going from £9 to £10.50. And then in the airport zone, an adult network day ticket is going from £12.50 to £14, and a child network day tickets going from £6.25 to £7. These are the same network day tickets I was talking about earlier. The adult daily cap's going from £5 to £5.70. The adult late cap is going from £5 to £5.50. The adult weekly cap's going from £24.50 to £26.50, and the network daily cap is going from £12.50 to £14. Okay, now let's actually get on with the service changes. At the top it says there will be no changes to the following Lothian buses services: 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 27, 32, 36, 37X, 37, 38, 47, 47B, and 49. And it also says there will be no changes to night buses with the exception of service N30. Service 12 is going to be rerouted to serve South Gyle Broadway instead of South Gyle Crescent, like it used to do pre-28th of May 2023 changes. That makes sense, I'd say. Interestingly, though, it says that due to how low the passenger numbers are, it's only going to be services 18 and the early morning 22A that are going to serve South Gyle Crescent, which is interesting. I did see before these changes were announced that they had updated the route registrations for the 12 and 22, and it said there was a variation to the routes themselves, which made me think they were swapping them again. So it is interesting to see that the 22 isn't actually going to be changed to serve its old route. In the evenings, all journeys that currently terminate at Broomhouse Road will be extended to the Gyle Centre. Hell yeah, good for them. And Monday through Saturday, earlier journeys will be introduced from Portobello, and later journeys will be introduced to Portobello. And also, this is something I have been wanting for about 2 years at this point. An extra bus will be introduced to the timetable to improve reliability and frequency of the service, particularly during Monday to Friday peak times. Quick glance at the timetable shows that it's going to get about 20 to 25 minutes at either end, which is a huge improvement. Extra journeys being introduced on the 15th from Monday to Friday between Easterbush and Morningside. That's exciting. That is an intense route overhaul in the west, like completely omitting basically all of Murrayfield. I mean, it benefits the people of Slateford, and as someone whose favourite train station in Edinburgh is Slateford, like, I will take that. Frequency's been reduced to every 30 minutes though, that's interesting. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me since the 22's kind of just been a dead duck since it was rerouted to Granton Harbour, but still, I'm honestly really digging this reroute. I don't see it being hugely busy now between, say, Stenhouse and Lothian Road, But at the same time, I feel like the people in Slateford and whatnot will probably really benefit from this. New early morning journey is going to be introduced on the 30 from Clovenstone towards Queen Margaret University, which will provide connections with the last N30, which is cool. This is interesting. Once the bus gate on Craig's Road has opened, the 31 is going to be diverted to not serve Maybury Road, but instead serve West Craig's Estate between Craig's Road and Maybury Junction. In the meantime, it's still going to serve Maybury Road, but that's still something to be excited for. And on the southern end, I'd have probably been a lot more stoked about this if I hadn't already heard a lot of rumourings about this. The 31's Poton Mill journeys are being extended to Rosewell. This is to provide Rosewell with a daytime service, since Service 46 from the 22nd of February is getting withdrawn. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the people of Rosewell are probably gonna benefit more from a service into Edinburgh City Centre than they would for a service to Dalkeith. Service X31 will instead stop at Gilmerton Dyke Street instead of Liberton Hospital now, due to Liberton Hospital closing at the end of last year. I find it funny that Lothian in this section described the 7 as being an orbital route. Like, no it isn't. How much ecstasy were the execs at Lothian smoking when they came up with this? What? If they want to test local links between, say, Lonehead and Mayfield in this sort of capacity, why the hell would you do it with a peak time only service? I'm almost impressed. I don't know how the hell Lothian passed this to the point where this is how the X33 is going to run from next month. I don't think I've ever been so just completely speechless about a Lothian change. New Service 39, I have heard about this again. Yeah, I do a lot of lurking on Rail UK forums with the occasional post like once in a blue moon. So I was kind of already aware that they had cancelled the registration for the 46, so I knew that they were doing a replacement, and by proxy I did know about this 39. Though I'm gonna be honest, I can't say I expected this to be the route it was gonna take. I just kind of thought, oh, you know, I'll follow the 46 route to Dalkeith Town Centre and then loop around Dalkeith Heights to Dalkeith Campus, maybe not serving Woodburn, which in hindsight feels pretty stupid. Though I wasn't expecting it to not only go down and serve Hopefield, but to go past Brixwold as well. I suppose to a degree this does kind of tie into the new X33 route, which I still can't get over. But at the same time, I think this is a useful local link through Midlothian. Okay, so unlike the East Coast Buses 139, which if you somehow couldn't guess is also getting withdrawn from these service changes, 39 will be running hourly Monday to Saturday. And because of the new fairly convoluted route it's gonna take, it's now gonna take about 45 to 50 minutes to do the full thing, as opposed to like half an hour in each direction on the 139. Pretty dope route though, I'm quite excited for this. Now to hope it doesn't become Lothian's next Fresh Air Express. Service 46 withdrawn. Yeah, I've kind of been talking about this already. So between Musselburgh and Dalkeith, the 48 will still be running, supposedly an improved frequency. We'll get to that. Between Bonnyrigg and Dalkeith, see services 39, 140, 141, and X33. Oh wait, sorry, no, the article says services 39, 140, 140, and X33. And for Rosewell, services 31 and X31. In May 2023, service 46 was introduced as a partial replacement for service 49 in Midlothian to provide additional connectivity across the region and improve service reliability. While customer numbers have increased, they have failed to grow to the levels expected or required to sustain the cost of operating the service in the long term, to the surprise of nobody. Okay, to be fair, it is a popular service. It's just, I think Lothian maybe set the bar a bit too high for it. X47 will be extended from Camo Meadows to East Craigs to provide a new link between East Craigs and the city centre. That's pretty cool, I guess. Service 48 will be increased to every 20 minutes, Monday to Friday daytime. Bit annoying that it's not on Saturdays as well, but what can you do? It says that due to a change in speed limits, the 48 is now just going to omit Darcy Road and Oak Place, which, yeah, that makes sense. Lothian Country, Service 43 will be getting minor timetable changes, and Service X19 will be reduced off-peak Monday to Friday, and then on Saturday, Sunday down to every hour as opposed to every half hour. To be fair, I still think Winchborough has a long way to go before there's demand for there to be 4 buses per hour into the city, on top of the realistically 2 trains per hour it'll get once they finally start working on and finish Winchborough Station. I'm not too familiar with how reliable the X19 actually is, so in reality it could just be timed to take longer than it actually does. However, with this new timetable, they have actually reduced the running time on the X19 from about 58 to 60 minutes off peak to round about 53 minutes either way. On Sunday daytime, service X4 is going to be increased to every 40 minutes as opposed to every 60 minutes. Though services X7, 113 and 124 are going to be reduced from every 30 minutes to every 40 minutes, which is interesting. I suppose I do get the 113 and 124, however I am a bit perplexed that they've reduced the X7 to being half the frequency it is Monday to Saturday. All the times I've used the X7 on a Sunday recently, it has been pretty damn busy between Haddington and Edinburgh, and that's at a half-hourly frequency, so I'm quite impressed that they're reducing it to every 40 minutes. With that being said though, I don't live in East Lothian, I legally live in Edinburgh, and currently I'm stationed in Midlothian, so... Services X6, 106 and 107 will have revised... Oh my god. X6, 106 and 107. Revised service with a more balanced Monday to Friday peak timetable between local 106 and express 106 journeys. The two later morning X6s and one of the X6 journeys in the evening have been withdrawn and replaced with 106 journeys. And now the first journey on a weekday from the Western General is at 7:30 in the morning as opposed to 11:30 in the morning, which for a weekday service is mental. And then yeah, everything else regarding the 106 timetable is about what you'd expect. Timetables for the 140 and 141 have been improved so they can run more reliably, however now it just looks like they were timetabled by first bus. And by that I mean that the timings are all over the place, like at one point there'll be a gap of less than half an hour and then there'll be like a gap that's nearly 40 minutes. Okay, and now my light's actually just dead and not turning off randomly. Good to know. First of all, there will be some slight service revisions with Ember from Wednesday the 11th of February. These are all quite simple. The shorter journeys on the E1 have been retimed and will now run non-stop from Rosyth into Edinburgh city centre, now calling it Queensferry Street as opposed to Haymarket Station. A new service E12 will be introduced between Buchanan Bus Station and Carmyle in Glasgow, which... if you know the E10 in Dundee, it's basically that, but in Glasgow. And then the shuttle service that Ember run on behalf of Lost Shore Surf Resort is now becoming its own Ember service, the E13, which will have an improved timetable compared to the current Lost Shore Surf Resort timetable. But yeah, that's all for this episode, so thank you guys for watching. The next episode of Bus News is going to be interesting, I will say. Okay, no pause, this is huge. According to a BBC article that released less than 2 hours ago as of me filming this, apparently Edinburgh Council have confirmed that they have plans to run tram trains down the Edinburgh South and Suburban line. God's sake, Edinburgh Council, you haven't even decided whether you want the Grand to Royal Infirmary line to run via the Roseburn Path or Dean Bridge. Why are you already coming up with new lines? Calm down! But yeah, as someone who actually stays along the Edinburgh South and Suburban line, I have a lot of thoughts about these, both good and bad. And personally, I feel like it's something I want to dedicate an entire video to, as opposed to just something I'm stitching onto the end of a Bus News episode very quickly. Especially when I've already planned for that Bus News episode to release on a Saturday instead of a Friday, so I can actually get it out on time for once. So yeah, expect a video about this to probably release within the next, I don't know, 2 months. But yeah, I'm gonna cut back to the outro I had already filmed, so... Alright, well, I'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.